school was really, really hard for me. It was really hard to learn anything. When I was younger, I was diagnosed with a learning disability, and it was so hard for me to learn anything. I remember sitting in the kitchen, math facts were something that was hard for me to remember, and I was constantly going over them over and over them. And this went throughout my whole school year, from middle school to high school. It was, really, really hard for me to learn anything. And when I was younger, all I wanted to do was be a vet. That was what I wanted to do. I loved animals, and I thought, that is what I'm going to be. And when I was in high school, one of my really good friends got in a car accident, and he actually died, and they brought him back to life, and they med-flighted him down to Grant Hospital. And I went down there every day to see him in the ICU, and he was in a coma for a couple months. And I just remember sitting in there seeing all of the nurses, healing him, and all of the medical staff, with rehab and everything. He actually was able to walk out of there a couple months later and was able to talk and everything, when they didn't even think that he would even be able to do that. And sitting there that day, or all of those days, I realized that is what I want to do. That I want to heal people. I want to help people. And so God, that was my path. That's what God wanted me to do. And I felt that in my heart, that that's what he wanted me to do. High school, I struggled because I knew I wanted to be a nurse, but I knew that you had to have awesome GPA to be able to even be accepted into a nursing program. And so I struggled through high school, trying my hardest to get good grades. And even though sometimes I studied as hard as I could, didn't mean that I would always get good grades on my test. And me and my mom talked about it, if it was something that I should really do. I, seen if it had to be within to be able to pass nursing school. So we started looking at different nursing schools, and I found a school, Marion Technical College. It's OSU Marion, and I applied for it. I didn't know if it was going to be 3 years until I get in, because usually nursing schools you have to wait a couple years to even be accepted into the program. And I remember we were home one day, and the mail came, and Mom went to get the mail, and we knew it was around the time to see if I was accepted into the nursing program or not. So we were constantly checking the mailbox, and Mom actually didn't even let me open the mail. She was the first one opening it right when we got it. And it said that I was accepted into the nursing class of 2011. And I was like, I actually got in. And it was, I did all my prereqs, so I did those before. And I think a lot of my family were really really nervous, because they didn't know if I was going to be able to do it or not. Not that I didn't have the passion for it, but as much as I studied, if I would be able to pass the test. And I knew it wasn't going to be easy. I knew it was going to be something that I was going to struggle with. And I remember to this day, winter quarter, for nursing, each quarter, you have to have a 75% or higher at the end of the quarter, and if you don't, you fail. And so I was really, really nervous, and that quarter I was down to a 71%, and I had one more test left, and it was out of 100. It was 120 questions, and it was everything we learned that quarter. And I saw a lot of people throughout the nursing program that were in the spot that I was and couldn't make it, because to bring a 71 up to a 75 is so hard. Mm-hmm. And I remember crying on my bed with my whole family. I was devastated, thinking that, it's going to slip for me. I'm not going to be able to accomplish my dream. And I remember sitting there praying with my family, and we were thinking, well, maybe this isn't what God's path is for you. And I felt God come around me like, this is what you're going to do. I'm going to help you get through this. And I remember looking at my mom like, I'm so worried I'm not going to be able to do it. And, and then something came around me again, reminding me, you were going to do this. You were going to do this. So I went in to take my test winter quarter, and I was so nervous going in there, and I just had to keep asking God, please give me the strength to get through this. And I took the test, and I didn't know if I was going to pass. You have to kind of wait till the evening or the next day to get your grade. And yes, I actually aced the test, winter quarter, and I passed it. I couldn't even believe it. That was the first A I ever gotten. So I was so happy. Before all of my tests, I really felt like talking to God out loud really helped me. Not just talking to my mind, but speaking like what I needed and what I needed help with. Even just getting down on my knees and just pouring it out. God, please help me. It really, really helped me. I got through it. It was such a struggle. It was 2 years. I got my associates, and I graduated this year from Marion Technical College. And really, if God wasn't there, I wouldn't have been able to make it. That's it. He definitely pushed me through it. When I graduated, I couldn't even believe I graduated. It was like I was on cloud 9. But all of you that know about nursing, you have to pass the Ohio Board of Nursing test, the exam. And it consists of 265 questions, and you have 6 hours. And sometimes you don't get all 265. The minimum is 75, and then the test will either shut off when it feels like you are competent, you know everything, or it'll shut off because you failed, because you didn't know all of your stuff. And there's millions of people that fail the test all the time. I mean, it's a very, very hard test. And I knew from the beginning in nursing when I got in that I would have to push that back and just focus on the here and now, because I knew that test was going to be the hardest. I scheduled my NCLEX, and it was in August. And I studied, and it was really hard for me to get back in the study mode, because being out of school for a couple weeks, I was ready just to go live my life and not study ever again. I mean, studying, I would do 10 to 12 hours a day when I was going through nursing school. So it was so nice to have some of that time, and I just had to keep praying to God, please get me back in that study mode, help me get through this. I went to take my test in August in Indiana, and I was so nervous, and I just kept praying to God, give me the strength to go in here and do this. And it was more anxiety. I was so nervous. And I went in, and it went past the 75, and I was like, great, I'm going to get all 265. So I started to panic after the 75, and I got it to 189 questions, and a blue screen came on. So I didn't know whether to be excited or to be upset. So for the NCLEX, sometimes it takes 48 hours for you even to know. So my poor family, I was crazy walking around, oh my gosh, I don't know, So we went to Cedar Point, and one of my friends messaged me. They knew I was taking it, and said, oh my gosh, it's up. It's up. You got to go look. And that was the hardest thing. So I went to the computer and typed in my name, my password, and I pushed the button, and it said I failed. So it was like the worst day ever, and just working that hard for something is the worst. When you put so much time and effort. But I knew that this was going to be hard for me. I didn't understand why I didn't pass. I started, God, why? And I just realized, there's a reason. There's a reason I didn't pass. And, all my friends and everyone that I talked to said, well, maybe, you're going to save someone's life with information that you still need to learn. So I was like, yeah, that's probably why. And, I was pretty upset. So I scheduled my test again in September, and you have to wait 45 days to retake it. And studied my heart out. I mean, I did over 2,000 questions in 45 days and studied every single day. That was work. That was everything. So last Sunday, I came to church, and last Monday, I took it. And he was talking about stress. And I was stressed because the next morning I was taking it again. And that was the worst feeling of, wondering, I don't want to fail again, And Talked to Kevin about everything, and that I just felt like that service really talked to me, and I prayed that night, God, please give me the strength to not be nervous, because that's what I was worried about. I was going to be too nervous. And I actually was calm. Sunday night, I was so calm. I was ready to take it. I felt good. God was giving me the strength. And the next morning, I woke up, and Mom's like, well, how are you feeling? Are you nervous? And I was like, actually, no, I feel great. I feel awesome. And I just kept praying, God, give me the strength, And we're heading to the test center. The test was scheduled at 8 o'clock. And we were heading there, and my legs started tapping, and I started getting really nervous. And Mom's like, I think you're getting pretty nervous. And I was like, yes, I am. And I just started bawling. So we get to the test center, and I had 15 minutes until I had to be in there. And we just sat and we prayed out loud, God, please let me do this. Give me the strength. And, we just said a whole bunch of prayers, and I got out of the car, and I felt like God wrapped, his arm around me, and he said, we are going to do this. You are going to do this. We're going to conquer this. And I didn't feel stressed at all. Walked into the test center and, did everything. They have to do these palm scans where you have to put your hand on it, and you got to do it 5 times on each side. And for some reason, when I got in there to do the palm scan, I kind of got nervous for a second. And every person that did it, you had to put this hand on for 5 times and this hand on for 5 times. And I went up to do it, and I did the one hand, did the other hand, and then went back to do the right hand. She's like, wow, that's weird. I don't need you to scan your hand anymore. It just clicked through. So it was like God knew I was getting stressed about it, and he's like, it's not a big deal. It's just a palm scan, So I went into the test, and right when I got in there, I put on my noise-canceling headphones, and I sat there before I even took it and started praying. God, give me the strength, And I felt calm, and I started to go through my questions. And the weird thing was, the questions that I was getting was the information that I studied Sunday. And that doesn't happen. In NCLEX, it's over so much information. There's no way to even know. And I started getting questions that I knew. And I was like, wow, I know this one, I know this one. But then I would get to the ones, and I'd be like, I don't know that one. I know this one, don't know that one, don't know that one. And then I was going, and it shut off at 79. And I was like, wow, that's a big jump. From going from 180-some to now 79 questions. So I walked out, and Mom came and picked me up. She's like, what do you think? What do you think? And I'm like, really, I have no idea. I just got to trust God, that I did it. Well, that whole night I kept praying, because I was getting so nervous, and we just kept checking. And usually it's 48 hours, so they tell you not even to check. And right when I got home, I'm sitting there checking. And Mom said, Heather, do not tell me when you're going to check, because I can't do it again. I can't do it again, So I would go up there and check, and she'd be like, what are you doing? You're checking. I was like, yeah, I am. So I would go up and check. Well, I didn't get it Monday night. Tuesday morning, woke up and started checking again, and I started getting nervous, and me and Mom sat in the kitchen and prayed and cried and prayed and cried, and I went up to check it at 12, and when you go to check it, you just type in your name, and it'll come up and say approved, or it'll say just pending, and it'll just keep saying pending, and then you'll get something in the mail that says that you failed, and or it'll tell you that you failed. And so I was going up thinking, it's just going to keep saying pending, and I go to type in my name, and it says approved. Oh, my gosh. Thank you. And I was freaking out. Mom thought somebody died or something because I'm upstairs screaming, and oh, my gosh. But God, seriously, there was a reason why that first time I didn't, but He really, really stepped me through this whole process. I couldn't have done it without him. Let's see, I have one more thing. This has shown me that all things are possible with God, but without him, I wouldn't have made it to where I am today. He pushed me through something that I didn't even think was possible. I didn't even think I could do it. Our God is amazing and loves every one of us and has a plan for each of us. We just have to give him glory for everything that he's done. He has changed my life, and I'm so thankful for that. So thank you guys for listening to me.
Amen. Stay here a second.